Hi crafters, and welcome back to Cousin DIY. This is part 2 of our basic jewelry making course. And today we are making bracelets. So, how do we make bracelets?
Well, first of all, this is the bracelet we'll be making.
Oh, that is really nice.
It's a bohemian inspired. We'll be using the same beads and tools that we used in our earring class. But in addition to that, we will be using beading wire, crimp tubes, these little tiny crimp tubes. That's what will be holding our wire onto these jump rings. And we are going to take the needle nose pliers and the 3-in-1 tool, and we're going to find where the opening is. In that the split is in that jump ring, and swivel it one side one way and the other side the other way. That's the correct way to open a jump ring. Then we're going to take the lobster clasp. We're going to slide the jump ring through the loop, and we're going to use our tools to swivel and close that jump ring back up. How's it going, Amy?
Good, I think. Oh, it's a little bit separated. So what I would do, I just swivel it back and forth
Keep
to make it go
swiveling back
in?
and forth until the ends meet.
Oh, I got it.
Great.
Okay.
Now the next step is going to be to take a length of wire, a crimp tube, slide the crimp onto one end of that wire, and then slide the wire through the jump ring, attach to your lobster clasp, bring it back around, that end of wire back around and through that crimp, and then slide the crimp so it rests against that jump ring. It should look like this.
Okay.
Then grab your needle nose pliers. Take the very end, and you're going to make sure that the wires are joined together, the two sides, and you're going to pinch and close real snug. And you've attached your wire to the jump ring. Next, we're going to take our side cutters and we're going to trim that little tail off out of the way.
There we go.
Alrighty. Now we're going to start stringing our first strand. And follow along with me.
Now I notice we have these mats. And they're great because our jewelry doesn't move off of them, but do they have other purposes?
Well, there's a ruler at the bottom, and in making necklaces, you'll see that the sides curve around and can be used as a guide to lay out a bead pattern and for designing necklaces. You can also use this for bracelets. But today we're just going to be following a certain order of beads.
Okay.
Okay. So take that wire that's attached to the lobster clasp and jump ring, and we're going to start by stringing on, oh, and don't forget, as in our former class, these e-beads can be a little irregular in size and shape, just slightly irregular. So try to choose beads that are similar in length as you work along. So we're going to start with 4 yellows, and then we're going to string on a turquoise, bronze, another turquoise, and then 4 more yellow. You're faster than me. Oops, that one doesn't have a hole in it.
I've been sewing for years.
Okay, slide those down. And next we're going to string on 10 bronze beads. We're going to try to keep them consistent as we can in the length size of them.
I find that if I hold the wire further away and treat the wire like a needle, it helps me to string it through.
Oh yeah, good point. Okay. At this point, we're going to string on 6 turquoise beads.
Sometimes they go flying.
Oh yes. Anybody who makes beaded jewelry finds that they tend to have a lot of beads on the floor when they end a project. You accumulate a lot of findings sometimes too on the floor. You're already there? My goodness. Okay. We're almost to the middle of our bracelet. At this point, we're going to string on the middle beads, which are 1 yellow, 1 bronze, and another yellow. Okay, that's the middle. And the next step is to repeat the pattern of this half of our bracelet in reverse. So we're going to start with 6 turquoise beads. Trying to find similar sizes. I mean, they're all pretty similar, but looking for symmetry here. Once we've completed that, we're going to go on and string on 10 more bronze.
There goes another one.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, next, grab another bead crimp, or it's a crimp tube, and slide that onto the end of your wire. Grab a 6mm, that's your larger jump ring. Slide the wire through the jump ring, then back through the crimp, right through the crimp tube. Come on. Then you're going to pull that wire so that it rests against the jump ring. And then you want to make sure, one thing when you are making bead strands, you want to make sure that you don't string them or crimp them on so tightly that they don't have any movement. So I usually just make sure that they have a nice drape. Then you can adjust your crimp accordingly. And once again, we're going to grab our needle nose pliers and we're going to flatten that crimp tube. We're going to squish it.
Got it.
Then we're going to cut off the tail. And actually, this is a bracelet in itself, but we're going to make it a multi-strand. For those of you following along at home, I would suggest that before you string your beads on your other two wires, that you start by crimping one side of the wire onto one of the jump rings. But for our purposes today, to be more efficient, I pre-strung these. So we're going to very carefully take a crimp bead. Be careful not to let the other side of the beads fall off the wire.
Yeah, give it a little bit more slack on one side.
Okay, so we're going to slide a crimp tube on the end of our wire. Bring the wire through the jump ring. And back through the crimp tube. How's it going, Amy?
Gave it a lot of slack because I was going to lose the beads.
Yeah, I know. Then we snug the crimp up,
Needle nose pliers.
resting against the jump ring, pinch hard, trim the tail. You with me?
Yep.
Then we're going to slide a crimp bead, crimp tube on the other side of that strand. Bring it through the jump ring on the other side of the bracelet. Back through the crimp tube. Snug it up. It's going to be the tricky part, getting that.
I found if I also put the wire through a bead a little bit to help me to secure it on.
Some people do that. It can make it tricky, but you don't want to end up with a little tail of wire sticking out the side of a bead that would scratch your wrist.
Oh.
So, but some people feel more secure when they do that. Okay, now we have 2 of the 3 strands attached, and we're going to repeat that last step with our last strand. Crimp tube, through the jump ring, again at home you'll be doing this step before you string on your beads. Trim the tail. Okay, and now we take another crimp tube, slide it on this end of our strand, on the wire on this end, through this jump ring, and back through our crimp tube. Why won't you go through? Come on.
Speak to
pliers to cinch that better. There we go. Then we're going to pinch that crimp nice and snug. And trim the tail. We're almost done. The last step is to take the teal tassel and we're going to remove the clip and this jump ring because we want to replace it with gold so it will match the findings, the other findings we used on our bracelet. So we're going to use our tools to find the opening in this jump ring on the tassel, and be patient with yourselves doing this because this can be a little frustrating, as you see. We're going to remove that jump ring, and then we're going to open another 6mm. That's the larger of the jump rings in your bundle, and this can be tricky. We're going to try to slide that back through the same way the original one was in there.
So you open your jump ring quite far.
Yes, open your genre, really open it. And remember, you swivel, you open the jump ring like this. Let me try this again. Here. And now I'm going to close that, and I'm going to tidy it up. Anything that didn't quite get attached, I'm just going to pull the threads out. We're going to reopen that jump ring using our tools, and we're going to attach it to the single jump ring side of the bracelet. Our bracelets are complete. There you go.
Oh, I love it.
Look what you made.
So exciting. And the necklace is going to look great with this bracelet and earrings. Well, see you in the next class. Bye.
Bye.